The ghost was her father's parting gift, presented by a black-clad secretary in a departure lounge at Narita. For the first 2 hours of the flight to London, it lay forgotten in her purse. A smooth, dark oblong, one side impressed with the ubiquitous Mars Nailtech logo, the other gently curved to fit the user's palm. She sat up very straight in her seat in the first-class cabin, her features composed in a small cold mask modelled after her dead mother's most characteristic expression. The surrounding seats were empty. Her father had purchased the space. She refused the meal the nervous steward offered. The vacant seats frightened him, evidence of her father's wealth and power. The man hesitated, then bowed and withdrew. Very briefly, she allowed the mask her mother's smile. Ghosts, she thought later, somewhere over Germany, staring at the upholstery of the seat beside her. How well her father treated his ghosts. There were ghosts beyond the window, too. Ghosts in the stratosphere of Europe's winter. Partial images that began to form if she let her eyes drift out of focus. Her mother in Ueno Park, face fragile in September sunlight. The cranes, Kumi. Look at the cranes. And Kumiko looked across Shinobazu Pond and saw nothing. No cranes at all. Only a few hopping black dots that surely were crows. The water was smooth as silk, the colour of lead, and pale holograms flickered indistinctly above a distant line of archery stalls. But Kumiko would see the cranes later, many times in dreams. They were origami, angular things folded from sheets of neon, bright, stiff birds sailing the moonscape of her mother's madness. Remembering her father, the black robe open across a tattooed storm of dragons, slumped behind the vast ebony field of his desk, his eyes flat and bright like the eyes of a painted doll. Your mother is dead. Do you understand? And all around her, the planes of shadow in his study, the angular darkness. His hand coming forward into the lamp's circle of light, unsteadily, to point at her. The robe's cuff sliding back to reveal a golden Rolex and more dragons, their manes swirling into waves, pricked out strong and dark around his wrist, pointing at her. Do you understand? She hadn't answered, but had run instead, down to a secret place she knew, the warren of the smallest of the cleaning machines. They ticked around her all night, scanning her every few minutes with pink bursts of laser light, until her father came to find her, and smelling of whiskey and Dunhill cigarettes, carried her to her room on the apartment's 3rd floor.